developing the leadership, capacity of teachers, accreditation and professional development, career structure for them. Grades 1 and 2, students to be taught by class teachers and not subject teachers. Preschool provision is practically non-existent. The children are coming into KG1 and they've hardly socialised out with their own family. Review of Arabic language resources available in the UAE and Middle East. This was taken probably 2006, about the first month of the project. You can see that the children don't have anything to do. They didn't have the ministry books. I had to force a smile out of them. They were just sitting there, doing nothing. Celebration of teacher success. Interactive work, being creative, making the most of a book, developing the love of books. If you look there, you'll see that the teacher is trying to teach with children away at the back who can't even see what she's doing. We wouldn't see that happening now in the classes when we're working there. Asking the children to reflect about themselves, ask questions, think about what they're doing. More science work. Celebrating the success of the children who can be creative and write. Dads are so important and they don't come into school enough. They want to come into school but they don't. So we have a big focus now on having special dads evenings and portfolio nights for them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you to all our speakers. I'll now open it up to questions from the audience. I'll take groups of 3 at a time. If you could just say who you are, and if your question is directed to a particular speaker, please say who the speaker is. I'll start with you, sir.
My name is Jamil Mohammed. I'm here as a parent, I'll have to say, because my boss is on the panel there, so hopefully I should have my job by tomorrow after I've made my comments here. Jane mentioned about greater autonomy and more responsibility, and many more of these sort of facets, we can call them facets, but we have here a top-down culture. So you're really talking about a change in the culture within this society. When I look at the schools and the students, there's a lot of emphasis on content rather than skills. And we're looking at very basic skills. For example, students who are coming out of schools are unable to present data in a table or present the data in a graph. So shouldn't we be looking at how can we actually make use of the present culture of memorization, yes, and recycling a lot of the work in order to be able to allow the students to have these basic skills instead of trying to aim very, very high before we've actually built the basic building blocks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Al-Farah.
My name is Sami Al-Farah. I'm the Chief Education Officer of Ta'aleem, and my point is listening to the speakers and what they brought, and which is really inspiring and enriching. There is the issue of Arabic language. When I was a child, 90% of my studies were in Arabic, 10% were in English. And if you am to write a piece of Arabic, yes, I can write good Arabic, but when it comes to looking at what we offer as Arabic for our children here, I am extremely worried about the Arabic level and the future of Arabic in this region, not in the Emirates, but in the region. To give a child this number of periods and this time of Arabic and expect that child to read Arabic, to write Arabic, is almost impossible. Understanding that the preschool already and at home, Arabic is not maybe used as it should be with the classical or the depth of Arabic language. The worry and would add more and more to the level of Arabic without the ownership at the leaders level, and I mean by that principals of schools who would make this as a priority. And then given the time, I'm looking at less than 20% of the time is given to the child to study Arabic. And I worry about Arabic and whether the teacher's training is what aspect. The resources are others, but the worry is the time given and the ability and the future of the country and the future of the region. Thank you.
Thank you. One more? Yes. Sorry. Yes, sir. I'm up the back, sorry. Yes, you. Sorry.
I think what really touched a nerve with me, Janelle Grady, educating a global New Zealand company based here in the UAE, was Professor Haslam's comment, because the context is a policy one tonight, the need to effectively educate the whole child through interagency collaboration. And in my experience, that has worked very well in a number of countries, particularly to reduce inefficiencies and duplication. We're all about educating a whole child. So I'd like to get further information from Professor Haslam about how do we build those open partnerships between other agencies, such as health and police, who can really effectively implement whole school, whole child education.
Thank you. Okay, we'll hand the first question about the making use of the culture of memorization for a transition. Anyone like to take that from our speakers?
I can give it a shot.
Okay, thanks, Ian.
Only because Gamil works for me, and I'm the culprit on the panel. I think what we're talking about, culturally, you made a sweeping statement, which is, kind of indicative of our assumptions of local culture, and that is it's top down. And I think it's a lot more complex than that. And there are, multiple networks of interactions that require creative and critical thinking, which is what Jane was talking about. But even if we just refer simply to Bloom's taxonomy and look at the basic structures of cognitive knowledge, from knowledge to comprehension to application before one gets to analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, there is a basic assumption that there are some tools laid down before we can engage in critical thinking. We have to have some facts and information, we have to have some understanding, and we might have to have applied it. To jump straight into creative thinking in open and action learning sessions is going to produce just so much, but there has to be a balance, I think. There has to be opportunities for quiet thought, for memory and recall, for personal development without necessarily being in an active learning setting, and to take that knowledge and comprehension and application levels of cognitive development into an active learning setting so that you can then participate fully in an authentic dialogue with others about the problem. So my instinct is it's more complex than we think. I recognize that there are scaffolds that needs to be put in place. And I think sometimes, we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, we really are into higher order thinking here, but we can't get into higher order thinking unless we've done some lower order thinking as well, and then some middle order thinking also. So it's about scaffolding knowledge. It is there. It does happen. We want to move away from just being at the knowledge level of memory recall, and we want to be able to, use it in more applied and active sessions.
Thank you. The second question was around the issue of Arabic language teaching, the shortage of the number of hours in the curriculum and the many challenges I think we all are aware of, especially from our last forum. Who would like to speak to that?
I'll talk about Arabic language because it's something that over the 6 years that I've been here, I have come to appreciate much more fully that we who prepare teachers have to spend as much time, if not more, on Arabic language as we do on the English language. I think that what I said when I was speaking, teaching in Arabic is something we need to think about. And at ZU, we're going to put a course in next fall called Teaching in Arabic, where we actually focus on the nuances for teaching in Arabic. And we also want our teachers to be extremely proficient in the Arabic language. Our college faculty recently decided that they would call themselves, every professor, a language professor. And so we're putting a great deal of focus on communication and language, both English and Arabic.
Thank you, Peggy. And the third question was for you, Ian, about interagency collaboration. How do we build these partnerships?
Well, yeah, it's a great question, and it's hot to trot on my thinking at the minute as far as, you know, how our college prepares teachers who are not only capable in the classroom of using the various methods we've just talked about, but also able to extend the services to the children. I think, first of all, there needs to be a recognition that a policy on childhood with education at the centre is a valuable discussion. Then, and even if we just do it now sort of simply, if one says, how do teachers work effectively with parents as a part of family services? How can we empower parents and engage them to help their children do what extra work they might need to do at home so they can be successful in the classroom? What are family services doing to empower parents and families to help children at home? What is the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Information doing to empower and engage and inform families and children about history, tradition, Arabic language, and so on? What is sport doing and exercise activity doing? What is the Ministry of Health doing to help parents and teachers work with children to, say, counter childhood obesity issues? So, you know, there's so much of a cross-cutting influence between a number of highly topical problems that we have growing up. And if you think about it, a child doesn't come to school as an empty vessel just ready to receive. We've talked about, you know, engaging them and trying to make them more emotional about what they're learning, but they bring baggage to school too. They bring agendas. They've had a problem at home. There's bullying in the playground. There's all sorts of issues that interfere with their performance in the classroom. We need to recognize it. We need to flag it. And then we need to sit and see where it all intersects. Instead of trying to work policy in silos, an education policy stands here by itself. A family policy, social services policy stands here. I think that's what I would like to see happen. But I think we're a long way from that at the minute.
Thank you.
If I could suggest, in the U.S., they have schools called the One-Stop School, and you could probably do a Google search and learn about those.
Just as another follow-up to it, when I was thinking about it as I was focusing on really meta-challenges to the system, I was thinking about how the college would, you know, do it unilaterally. And we could run by semester cross-curricular themes. All students, all subjects, semester 6 in our program, could conceivably be interacting with the health ministry on childhood health-related issues that, you know, they could understand who's doing what, how those resources from the health education or the health ministry can be used in the classroom, how children can learn about looking after their own well-being, and how then families could participate in that as well. So each semester we could take a cross-curriculum theme like that and integrate it with classroom management, teaching and learning, and curriculum development, and so on. But that's down the road some, and we're as a college, we're not there yet.
Okay, I'll take 3 more questions.
Hala Fada, EAL teacher and mother tongue Arabic in London for over 38 years. And my question would be for Jill and for the colleague from Talim. I believe that when I was listening to Jill, I understood that it is important that the child learns through activities and being creative. One thing that came to my mind, why is science, IT, and maths to be taught in English when the children are Arabs? We know that these subjects or disciplines, what we call in the curriculum, are language-based, and if the child is struggling with English, how would he be able, so he'll be struggling with learning the discipline and learning the concepts in these disciplines, as well as being not able to comprehend everything in the English language. So Arabic is very important, and I do not think that it is far away once these teachers are trained to use strategies and the assessment. And the last point that Mr. was speaking about, knowing the child does not come illiterate for us. So assessment is very important, knowing the pre-knowledge and building on pre-knowledge. And I think the most important thing is that to encourage the learning in the mother tongue, because once the mother tongue is very, very strong, every other language comes building on the skills of the mother tongue. And I believe that a child in the Arab world has to build. I was taught not in Arabic as a child, and I'm teaching in London, but I make sure that Arabic is very, very important when I teach mother tongue in London for the Arab students. And it is the basic of their learning because they understand the concept. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll just take three, then I'll come back. Catherine.
Catherine Lewis, the national newspaper. There's been talk on the Ministry of Education level for some time about developing a national set of teacher certification and licensure standards. And my question is to anyone on the panel, really, how important or urgent is this? And should it happen on the national or the state level? Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh. Working? It's not
Yes,
working. Okay, it's working now. Miriam Ismail, freelance journalist. One thing I noticed for Jill Clark, I noticed that you had lots of resources. Who makes them? Because for us, for a teacher in the U.S., you have so many stores, you have so many lamination machines, you have so many opportunities to make so many resources for the classroom. But here, you can't find them to buy them, and you don't have all night and all day to make them. So how do you get them? And, for the classrooms, in English, Arabic, whichever, either one is hard. So your setup was really beautiful and nice, but not every school has that or even wants to have that. So how do you convince the teachers, first of all, to put them in place, and then where do you get them from?
Thank you. The gentleman behind you. Sorry, thank you, sir.
My name is Ken Volk from the Masdar Institute of Science and Technology. My question is about, you've talked a lot about the quality of teachers here, but I'm not hearing a lot about the quantity, and specifically about attracting males into the profession. If you look at salaries that are pressed, they're not attractive enough to bring anyone. I think many women look at it as kind of a compromise or as a career choice. It's a safe profession. There's a lack of respect by students of the teachers in schools with the proliferation of expat teachers there. So, I would like to hear some comments on how you'd like to attract more men into the profession.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with Jill about teaching science, IT, math in English.
I completely agree with you that Arabic is so important, especially for the young children, because they're developing their Arabic vocabulary as well. Just to let you know that the children are taught in Arabic first, and then it's used as a medium for English. So key words are then used in English as well. So the full instruction is in Arabic for maths and science, but key words are in English as well. It's bilingual. But what we must stress with the teachers, and the teachers are very good at this part of it, is to make sure that the children understand in Arabic what the concept is.
Okay. Thanks, Jill. Teacher licensure, national, state, which sort of level?
I'll
Jane?
take that one, yeah. Working in the ministry. There are actually teacher standards, and within Madaris Al-Gad we use those standards as part of our teacher evaluation process. I'd like to see those rolled out into all schools and used in all schools, so that there was a better process that we could measure teachers by. It's only through having a set of standards against which we can measure ourselves, that we can reflect on our own practice, can we then improve. And our teachers in our Madaris Al-Gad schools actually welcome having, as a student does, everything in front of them so that they know what the expectations are. So when we are going into classrooms to observe teachers and to help support them, they know what it is that we are observing. When we're looking at their teacher standards and looking at their own professional development, we have a set of standards that we use that they can then measure themselves against. They do exist, but they need to be brushed off perhaps and brought out more to the fore and used across the Emirates. I think it is something that is Emirate-wide. It's not just in individual Emirates. There should be one set for the whole of the United Arab Emirates.
Thank you, Jane. Resources, Jill. Where do you get them? Who makes them? Can we have them?
The resources in the partnership schools are bought, the ones that are bought from the budget that the school receives from ADEC, or at one time ADEC and the ministry together. Every school, every partnership school does an annual report, and that highlights what the school improvement plan should have in it. Everything this is part of the principals training as well, is that everything that's bought with the budget from the school is in line with the school improvement plan. And we do have suppliers who can supply all sorts of fantastic resources, but obviously there's a limit to what we can buy, so we have to manage that carefully and plan more than just a year. What is our 3-year plan? So it's really important that the principals understand that we're planning ahead, we're strategically planning, which is 3 to 5 years. The resources that you saw in, I'm not sure if you're referring to especially the classroom with the resources on the blackboard and...
No, the things that were all over the wall, you know. There was one with the wall was full of things, and I thought that was really nice. And it's important for kids, but...
These were made by the teachers. The partnership teachers, the CFBT partnership teachers, model lessons, and a lot of these resources are free on the internet. So what we do is we blow them up, we adapt them, we photocopy some pages of books, because you can legally photocopy a certain percentage of a book, and if you photocopy the graphics, it's a great learning resource for the children. So we make a lot of the games for the children, and it's about learning in context. Every school has laminators. I mean, that's a priority, and laminating pouches. Everything like that is bought at the start of the year, and we have to manage that through the year as well. If you want the websites, I'll let you have them later.
Yeah, give it to me. And lastly, the issue of the quantity of teachers and how do we attract more males to the profession?
Well, that's $1 million question, isn't it? Career path, benefits, pay, working environment. In the UK, we're short of math teachers. We use a golden handshake to try and attract people who've got math degrees into the program. So different incentives for shortage subjects, in terms of monetary incentives for shortage subjects, is the fast-track way. I should point out, though, that across the world, elementary programs with men in them, you'd be lucky if you saw 15%. Now, I know we're not there yet, but it's not just a UAE problem. This is a problem across most, even first world economy systems. The second point related to the men issue, as I touched on rather quickly, because I was shortchanged on the slides.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll remember that, Tasha. Is that in the neighborhood of about 56% of our postgrad diploma who are Cycle 2 and Cycle 3 subject specialists are women, so 48% or thereabouts are men. So there is a balance in the secondary school system, but nowhere near the kind of numbers that we will be looking for in the elementary program.
If I can add to that, I think it goes back a little bit further than that. We have to get boys interested in the profession if we are going to have male teachers in the profession, and therefore we need to have the incentives that it's as attractive to be a teacher as it is to go into the armed forces or into the police force. So it goes back even further than just getting them into higher education and becoming trained teachers.
Yeah. I'll take 3 more. Up the back, sorry. And then.
Hello, I'm Sally Smart. And I'm from Cognition Education, which is a New Zealand-based education company. We are working with 24 schools in Abu Dhabi as part of the public-private partnership. And I'd have to say that we're very privileged to be working in these schools, because every day we come across teachers who don't have formal qualifications but are making tremendous bounds and leaps with their learnings, their skills and their understandings, and the knowledge that they're creating from the teaching that they are doing with the students in the Emirate. So my question to Professor Haslam and to Dr. Peggy is, in what way are we going to be able to recognise this learning and the ability of these teachers to be learning on the job, because they are the nucleus of the teaching force that will go forward in the future?
Thank you.
It's so important.
Sorry, I'll just take a couple more. They won't turn to. I know. Can you hold, just hold the thought? Sorry if I'm not. Yeah.
Sorry. Fatma Al-Marri, Knowledge and Human Development Authority. First, I would like to thank all the speakers for their presentations. We all agree that teachers are the most valuable or the most important professions for building our futures. I think, based on the previous question, for attracting more teachers, not only male teachers, to this profession, I think this is a big challenge. But even not this is the challenge, the most important, even the more difficult challenge is how to keep teachers in these professions. What we are facing in the Emirates is many teachers, we try to attract teachers, but after a few years, we see these teachers are searching for other professions, or they would prefer early retirement. And I think this is a big challenge. Myself, I started as a teacher. I started with passion, with joy, with enthusiasm. But after a few years, and I think this is the same with all the teachers, the motivation